Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm going to be giving you my TBR for the Chicklitathon 2019, and it's being hosted again by All Things Equilateral, Jen from Jen Reads Audiobooks and Lisa from Books and Smiles, and I'm really excited to take part. It's taking part for the whole of the month of May. I've really been enjoying these sort of month-long readathons. I just think they take the pressure off sometimes in terms of fitting things in and having to read certain books. It gives you a time to sort of feel in the mood for that particular book, so I'm looking forward to taking part. I've got some other books to read in May for various other things that I'm doing, but I think it's doable to read. I think it's 6 challenges that they've set, so I'm going to tell you here the books that I have tentatively put on my TBR. There's room for wiggle, and I've put a few in each category for some, so that it gives me a bit more of a wiggle room to change my mind. The first book, however, the first challenge, is one that I only have one book that fulfills the category, and that is to read a book by Sophie Kinsella. Luckily, recently, because I haven't really read many Sophie Kinsella and I can't say that they sort of appeal to me so much, but I did pick up Sophie Kinsella's, and I think it's her YA debut, and it's Finding Audrey. I believe this is the story of a girl that cannot leave the house. She feels very isolated, and then a encounter with her brother's best friend brings her maybe out of her shell a little bit. So I don't know much about this. I think when it came out I heard sort of mixed reviews, but it is the only Sophie Kinsella I've got, so this will be going on my TBR. The next challenge is to read a book with a pair of heels on the cover. I've got a few options for that, but the 2 that I've picked out to pick from are Playing Footsie by Penelope Jacobs, which have a gorgeous set of red high heels on. This is a kind of raunchy book, I believe, about a woman that joins an investment bank as a young graduate, and she witnesses many women falling victim to office affairs and determined herself to be taken seriously. And then I think she sort of catches the eye in terms of sort of work and everything with a senior colleague who she then sort of finds attractive and has a sort of relationship with, and has to try and balance her career and wanting to keep her career going with this sort of relationship that might threaten to derail it all. So derail it all. So yeah, it sounds like it might be an interesting one. And the other one I've got is by Liza Palmer, who is an author that I really enjoy, and it's called More Like Her. This is an ex-library copy, so it's a little bit shiny, I'm afraid. This is a story about our protagonist who wants to be more like her boss. She believes her boss to have this sort of perfect marriage, perfect life, and maybe things aren't as they seem, and we will be finding out along with the main character. So this is bound to be a heart-wrenching one. The next challenge is to read a book with a historical setting. I've got a few of those on my shelf, but I've picked up 3 that appeal to me. The first is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This has been on so many TBRs that I have set myself, and I don't know what is holding me back from actually just going ahead and picking up this book. So maybe this will be the right push. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep putting it on TBRs until I finally read it and probably love it. So it's frustrating, but I've just not been in the mood yet. This one is set in the war, and it's about 2 sisters. The younger one lives in Paris, and her other sister lives in the French countryside, and then World War II breaks out, and there's bound to be all sorts of relationships and things that go on. The second is a book that was recommended to me quite a while back, actually, by my friend Tracy, whose channel is Flamingo Reads, and she recommended it to me. I think it was when we were doing one of the book buddy-a-thons, the one that she ran with me, and she suggested that I'd really enjoy this, so I picked it up, and then I didn't end up reading it. And it's Peacock's Dancing by Sharon Mass. The cover on this I just find really chilling, like really chilled out and mellow, but it's about, it says, growing up in a ramshackle house in Georgetown, Rita Mirage collects people like she does dogs, cats, ants, even unwanted police horse. But her father remarries, her stepmother is determined to tidy up house, husband and stepdaughter and move into respectable society. However, a distant relative arrives searching for an heir to the family estate in India. Rita's sense of adventure is reawakened first by her aunt, the formidable Maharana, and even more by the tragedies of her distant cousin. Her early life, saving half the wildlife of her neighbourhood, is just preparation for the destiny that awaits her. this just is ringing my bells right now, so this could be the one. And the other one I picked off my shelf is At the Water's Edge by Sarah, I think it is, or Sarah Gruen, who wrote Water for Elephants, which I really loved the book of, and I picked this up ages ago and then just sort of never got to it. It's set in the 40s again, so it's sort of a war setting. It says, after embarrassing themselves at the social event of the year in high society Philadelphia on New Year's Eve of 1944, Maddie and Ellis Hyde are cut off financially by Ellis's father, a former army colonel who is already ashamed of his colourblind son's inability to serve in World War II. To Maddie's horror, Ellis decides that the only way to regain his father's favour is to succeed in a venture his father attempted and very publicly failed at. He will hunt the famous Loch Ness monster, and when he finds it, he will restore his father's name and return to his father's good graces. In January 1945, they hitch a ride on a ship across the Atlantic while the war is still raging all around them, and Maddie, now alone and virtually abandoned in a foreign country, must begin to work out who she is and what she wants, the vacuous life she left behind or something more real. What she discovers about the larger world and about herself opens her eyes not only to the dark forces that exist around her, but to the beauty and surprising possibility of life. So again, I think this one sounds like it's going to be a really interesting read as well. When I read the next prompt, which said a book set in LA or Hollywood, I thought, I'm not going to be able to find those, but surprisingly I have at least two, or I found two and I picked two to choose from. I have got Rolls Royce by Margaret Stoll, which is a white book, which is quite unusual, and I really like the colour on the front of this, and would also, funnily enough, fit in to the one with a pair of heels on the front. This is about 16-year-old Bentley Royce, who has it all: a hit reality TV show about her family, a mansion, adoring paparazzi, and everything else that comes with the red carpet ride of a true LA star. But after 5 seasons of rolling with the Royces and OMG, a lifetime of dealing with her narcissistic sister Porsche, or maybe Porsche, media-obsessed mother Mercedes, and gambling-addicted brother Maybach, Bentley wants out. Luckily for her, without a hook for season 6, cancellation is looming and freedom is on the horizon. But as Bentley's family start to crumble, one thing becomes clear: without the show, there is no family. Things start to get real. So this is sort of a YA option for me for this category. And then another book set, I believe, in LA, which is a adult book, is November 9 by Colleen Hoover. This is about 2 people that meet by chance and fall for each other, I think, on one of their last days in LA, and then they meet up every year at the same time. I'm not sure much else about what's going on. So Colleen Hoover's books tend to be quite romantic and interesting in their plots, so I know there's LA in this and it fits the bill, so that is going on my TBR as an option. The next book is to read a romance or a book that has meaning. So I don't know really if I had much on my shelf, but I had these 2 which sounded quite interesting. I think they're interesting and certainly meaningful storylines, and they've got more depth to them. However, I don't know what they will end up meaning to me yet. This one is called Nothing Tastes as Good by Claire Hennessy. Now, in terms of meaning, my relationship with food and my weight is something that definitely is sort of not triggering for me, but it's definitely something that is a lifelong issue, I suppose. So this one is about a girl who is dead, and she has her first assignment, which is to help her classmate. She said she knows instantly what to do. Julia is fat. Fat makes you unhappy, so that must be what she's there for. But it says, as Annabelle shadows Julia's life in the pressured final year of school, Julia gradually lets Annabelle's voice in, guiding her thoughts towards her food, body and control. But nothing is as simple as it first seems. Spending time in Julia's head seems to be having its own effect on Annabelle, and she knows that once the voices take hold, it's hard to ignore them. Marion Keyser said this is utterly magnificent, so I think it's going to be a meaningful read. The other one that I saw that is quite timely, I suppose, unfortunately, and that is And We Stay by Jenny Hubbard, which is a Michael Prince Award, and this is quite a short one, so quite good for a readathon. This is about when a senior boy called Paul has gone into his school with a gun, threatened his girlfriend and taken his own life. She's then sent off to boarding school where she meets two quirky students, and then it says the spirit of Emily Dickinson offers a helping hand, but is it up to Emily? But it is up to Emily Bream to heal her own damaged self, to find the good behind the bad and hope inside the despair and springtime under the snow. So I think this is going to be a really interesting read and quite a hard-hitting one as well. The final challenge is to pick up a domestic thriller. Now this is where I struggled the most because I don't really tend to read that many domestic thrillers. So I think I looked up the definition of a domestic thriller, and it's really one that is involving relationships and family. Doesn't have to be set in the home, but it tends to be these sort of psychological thrillers around family and friendship and sort of that sort of mystery. So I think this one fits the bill and I'm interested to read it. It's called All the Beautiful Strangers by Elizabeth Clayforth. This says that Charlie Calloway appears to have the life most people would kill for: a wealthy family, loyal friends, top grades at elite boarding school. When her school's super exclusive secret society extends a mysterious invitation, she's determined to get in at whatever cost, but the secrets they keep are deeper and more dangerous than Charlie could ever have imagined and implicate her family in not just one but two terrible crimes. They could destroy her or give her the answers she's always craved. Who or what was behind her mother's disappearance 10 years ago? I'm hoping this is going to fit the bill okay for the domestic thriller. It certainly piques my interest, so I hope it does. So I've picked quite a few books. I've got quite a nice little pile to pick from over the month of May. I'm really looking forward to taking part and seeing how I get on, and yeah, I'm really excited that the girls are running this again, and I look forward to keeping you updated on how I'm doing. Anyway, have you read any of these 5-star reads for you? Any of these that you think should definitely be on my TBR? Let me know in the comments down below as always, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.